You are the average of the 5 people around.
You've got this variety of entrepreneurs in different life stages, and it's because I've put myself in very uncomfortable positions where I'm forced to grow. It's not just business. That's what I found out. It's not just work, right? There's so much more to life, right? I've tried it, and it's really hard. Our mother started the business, and what she did and where she brought the business to when I came in, I think is amazing. The story is truly remarkable. There are things in life that you can delegate, and there are things in life that you can't delegate, right? O ikaw muna, can I hire you to be the husband or the wife of my wife or husband, right? Or the father or mother of my children? Hey, can you exercise for me? I'll pay you, right?
Nice.
So you can. So you can't delegate. If you go to the churches in the province, there are people that wait outside, right, to pray for you. You pay them. It takes too much energy to this.
So again, it's about delegating, about trust. What I love hearing here is the energy to distrust. It's so much.
It's draining, right? It takes energy away from things that are very important, right? There's running a company requires energy, right? It requires a lot of energy, and you have to manage that energy, right? And if a portion of the energy is consumed by distrust, then you're actually taking away from the company. The company loses out,
Demands so much
right?
of energy,
Yeah.
and if you're gonna be this person with less energy because of distrust,
It doesn't make sense.
and that's what I noticed also. With some people I work with, and the things they put their energy, their focus on.
Yeah, yeah.
Parang, it's yeah. What do you
Well,
think it is?
I think there's nothing wrong with that, but just understand that um, what's the expression? Something will give.
Yeah,
Something's got to give,
correct.
right? There are people who dedicate all their waking moment, right, to work, right? They tend to they're at the shop every day, from maybe when the time they wake up to the time they sleep, right? They're in their shop because maybe they distrust the people that work with them. There's nothing wrong with that, but know that those three that I mentioned, right? Family, health, and spirituality. One of them, you will drop one of them, and these are the balls that don't bounce back, right?
Don't bounce back.
So there are balls that bounce back work, right? If you screw up at work, it's gonna bounce back,
All right,
right?
Okay.
Diba? Or friendship. Sometimes friends, right? You get into something with your friends. Sige, maybe galit muna kayo, take time, but it's gonna bounce back.
Sure.
But if you drop the ball with family and health,
Yes.
right? Oh, if you get a health scare, right? Something serious. It's hard to bounce back from.
I love this portion because I really feel that energy is such an underrated part of leadership. It's
Yeah.
something that people really don't talk about much, but I think it's so important. And as you talk about that, you are someone who has really worked on having that energy. You've taken care of yourself, right? Because you want to give this energy to all those things and the business, right?
Yes.
Isn't it true?
It's yeah, right, that I'm very active, right? For my age, I'm 52, yet I'm able to do a lot physically, and yet I manage my energy very carefully. You would think that somebody with my energy at my age would, should have a lot of things on his plate, right? Because Carlo takes care of his health, so he probably can take so much, right? He can take a buffet of challenges and responsibilities, but the other way around, actually, the more time I put in family, in myself, in my health and spirituality, somehow, because of that, everything else around it seem to work themselves out. I don't know. You would think that you know what? If you neglect, kasi people could see it as neglect, being remiss, right? You know what? He's spending too much time with his family, spending too much time exercising, right? Or spirituality. For sure, everything around this person is crumbling or falling apart. Quite the opposite. Our company, these bigs, right, started to grow really fast, right, for a provincial company when I started to focus on those three areas more.
So are you saying that really that doing what you're doing, really being deliberate about things, intentional, has had an effect on the business?
But of course, it's strategic, right? I have to make sure that I surround myself with the right people. I invested in the right people. I think that is the most understated strategy, right? Is investing in people. You know firsthand how much we have invested in and we are a provincial company. We're a regional company, and yet our bench,
Mhm.
right, our management bench is probably as deep as the biggest food chains in the Philippines.
Correct.
Well, because, I mean, for the obvious reason that nothing else will help you grow a business than having the right people behind it.
Speaking of, they say that probably the most challenging relationship in business is the CEO, COO, right? Because it says it is the sharing of power. And yet, at least with Emil for the last 5 years, you have you've had a very successful relationship, right? And I remember you had said that one of your roles is to take care of your CEO.
Happy spouse, happy house,
Okay, yes, we know
right?
that.
Happy spouse, happy
We know
house,
that.
right? So it's the same in a company, right? And we have to take care of each other. Actually, the two people I have to take care of, right? The most important people in my life, at least at work, is the COO and my chairman, right? My chairman represents the board, right? And my COO represents the organization, right? So those are the two people that I have to take care of, right? And recently, I've heard people say, team Sir Carlo kami, tapos team Emil, team Carlo, team
Okay, what
Emil,
is
team.
that?
It's natural, right? It's natural because you'll always have that, always. In any business, there'll be people that will try to be on your side, and then some people, depending on the kind of person you are. Let's say if I'm a marketing person, I'm still involved in branding, store design. So naturally, the people in those departments, right, are labeled Team Carlo.
Okay.
Everybody else, right, that I don't want to have don't want to have to do anything with operationally, is Team Emil. I just told everyone recently, everybody is Team Emil. There's no Team Carlo here. Lahat Team Emil. I'm not their direct report. Emil is their direct report. So it has to be clear that everybody, including me, Team Emil or Team COO, right? Team COO, everybody's Team COO, not CEO. It's Team COO. And if you have that mindset, right, then if your COO is happy, then your the people down the line are happy, and if they're happy, ultimately the customer is going to be happy. Same within a family, right? If you want your children to be happy and to get along with each other and to be successful in school, you take care of your relationship with your spouse. Once that's taken care of, everything else will take care of itself.
And if we are going to be talking to Emil, right? We will drop by.
I thought with Rika, my wife,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
That's for
Yeah.
another channel.
okay.
If we ask him about to describe Carlo, what do you think he would say?
I'm very good at managing the owners. I'm very good at making sure that he is not burdened with managing upwards,
So he's not
right?
just
So
focused on
because his experience with previous companies is that the owners, right? There's always multiple owners, partners, right? They overreach, right? And he gets caught in the middle.
What is overreach?
Meaning, there are two boxes in an organization. There's the owner's box and there's the employee box, right? So you cannot traverse, right? If you're in an owner box, you stay there. So if you're an owner that has an executive position, then you have to be down there working. You can't be both. And the hardest part is managing both. And I'm the one caught in the middle, managing both, right? Making sure that the owners don't overreach, right? Stay in their box. And also, well, it's easy to keep the organization within their box. Maybe that he'll say is what I've been good at. Yeah.
When facing tough calls, how do you know when to trust your gut versus data?
My gut has failed me so many times. So many times. And the only reason why I'm still around is because I'm the son of the owner, right? Um, but I think mistakes are necessary, right? Mistakes are well, they're like they're like steps, right? The only way to graduate, to go up the stairs or the ladder is to make mistakes. So all those ledges on a ladder or those steps on a staircase are all mistakes, right? Sayang lang if, let's say, you make a mistake and then the company doesn't benefit from it. Meaning I get fired, right? So you get somebody else that will commit the same mistake, right? And that person gets fired. So imagine if you have somebody in the business that has a compendium of mistakes, right? That the company benefits from, so that the company doesn't do it again, right? So I'm that person, right? I'm all the mistakes that Biggs has ever made, right? So now I can spot. I'm the gatekeeper of mistakes. So now I can spot a problem a mile away, right? I can tell everybody, hey, let's watch out.
I've experienced this, guys.
Yeah, but the thing is, I've learned this from a professor from Harvard when I was in AIM. A visiting professor came, and he said successful organizations um, uh, is where a CEO or a president gives management freedom within a framework, right? So you give them parameters, right? You allow them to make mistakes within those parameters. You have to allow mistakes. You have to allow mistakes. Just like a child learning how to walk. The child will trip, fall, hurt himself, right? Get bukol, bumps, but that's part of it. He'll never learn how to run, right? If he doesn't go through that process. So it's the same with the business, right? What if that kid bumps himself or hurts himself and you know what? Never ever try walking again, right? Then that person will not become a marathon or an athlete in one day, right? It's that process of hurting himself. You'll always have a baby, right? If every time you replace the child with another child, right? That would make the same mistake. Anyway, you get the point.
Yes, yeah. So how do you determine what is in that parameter? I mean, we're
Core values.
go ahead.
I think the parameters are made out of core values. These are the things that we don't compromise on. The non-negotiable are the core values, right? So nobody gets hurt, right? You may lose money, and it's part of the equation. Is that within the parameter you're allowed to lose money? The company is allowed to lose money, right? But then we don't compromise on our core values, right? And we don't. It doesn't affect the customers, right? From the lens of the customers, everything's the same. All the mistakes are done behind the scenes. That's fine. Brand as well is not. You don't hurt the brand. It's not a scandal or whatever where the brand is hurt. That's non-negotiable, right? So, but everything else, you're free to make mistakes.
You've been. I mean, how blessed are you having owners, the board that has being patient with you? Like you said, hey, you know what? I mean, that's isn't that such a critical part also that they've allowed certain things like you said, that and Have they been rewarded with that patience?
That you have to ask them that.
That's another episode with
Yeah,
asking the
you have to
owners.
ask them that. Maybe the reason I think they they are what was your question again? If they
About
are
patient, they've allowed you. I mean,
if
you
if
said
if their patience had paid off for
yes,
them,
yes,
right? If their patience had paid off for them, I think the the testament to that is them allowing me, right, to make this big move, right, and work on the business remotely, right. If they did not see or do not see my value in the business, right, if they think that I'm irrelevant, that I have nothing to contribute,
they would not
right,
allow
then they
this.
would probably say, well,
Yeah.
then sorry, we'll look for somebody
Sure,
else
sure.
to run the business. But they still see value in me.
So it's sort of
Um,
a. I'm sorry if I'm using the word vindication, but some sort of you feel like, hey,
validation.
that's the word. Sorry,
So it's
the
the
validation.
validation, right? That yes, I've made mistakes, but it's paid off,
Mm-hmm.
right? The mistakes have paid off for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think we've come a long way with Biggs. Uh, it's a strong brand. It's a very strong brand, and it's because of the mistakes that I've made, right? That have made it stronger, right?
Yeah, well, what do you look for in someone you're considering for a leadership role?
I mean, you can't get to that leadership role if you don't have the technical skills, right? The hard skills. So you need to have hard skills, right? That's a given.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we wouldn't be talking about considering that person if the person didn't have leadership skills to begin with. So I think the more important part are the soft skills,
Sure.
right? The leadership skills that you're talking about.
What's that, what stand out to you?
It's cliche, no? Cliche, pero
Sure, go.
integrity.
Mm,
It still boils down, to integrity.
mm.
It's compassion
How do
because
you know when the person is compassionate?
you can see by how a person treats other people, right? How he relates with how he relates with different types of people, no, from your entry level, rank and file employees to the owners. Of course, the owners you only you don't want to see two faces, basically, right? You want to see that whatever person that you see in front of you, right, as an employer, as an owner, is the same face that the person down there sees as well. And there are ways to find out. And we've had managers before that have two faces, right? Two personalities. So I think that's really important.
Compassion. Compassion.
Compassion,
That's
empathy.
Empathy.
You have to be true. You have to be authentic. You have to be authentic. At that level. You can't hide. You can't fake it. Yeah, you can't fake it anymore. You have to be authentic, and your default should always be the truth, right?
I think it was you who said that character is who you are when nobody's
Yes,
Is
yes.
it?
Character is the person that you are when nobody's looking. So exactly right. Even if the owners are not watching you, you're still that way with other people. Whether you're dealing with lowly, sorry, right, environmental or maintenance worker, right, to a director in the business, you get treated the same way by this person. That's character.
What have you had to let go of? Whether habits, roles, or ego to grow into the leader Biggs needed. What have you had to let go?
Credit.
Hmm. Talk to us about that. What do you mean?
It doesn't it doesn't benefit me to take the credit, but it means the whole world to everybody else. I think that's the most valuable currency is credit. Doesn't make
I
sense,
like
right?
that.
It doesn't make
I
sense.
like that.
Even if it's my idea
Sure.
and if it's a good idea,
Yeah.
that's why I'm known as the person that that's responsible for the most mistakes in the business, right? Because if it's a mistake, that's me, right? Kung it's a failure, it's me, and I'm very vocal about it. Ako yan. I'm
My
sorry.
bad,
I'm
my
sorry.
bad.
But if something good happens, I use that as currency, and I throw it around, and I go, oh, that's Emil. Oh, that's them. Oh, that's you. That's your idea. And the person, my idea. Sometimes when you praise somebody, oh, na lang sila, di ba? Okay, sure. But that's the most valuable currency. That nothing will lift a person's spirits, right? As that.
And it's one of those, again, also another underrated aspect is the appreciation.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not about money.
it's not about money.
People just love to be told, to be given the pat on the shoulder.
To be
That's
seen.
like to be,
To
for
be
others
seen. Oh
to,
yes, it
to
has
say,
to
hey,
be
galing, galing
it has
mo.
to be in front of everyone because that credit is worthless, right?
It's
If you
just-
throw it around and when no one's
Sure,
watching,
sure.
right? People have to be watching,
So
right?
make sure people are watching as you pass on the credit.
Yeah. You give it to some. You never take credit. That's my thing.
Never
I
take
never ever. You'll never hear me say that was my idea. Ako yan. I never say ako, akin, unless it's a mistake. Then it's always ako.
Two things. In that strat planning that I attended Biggs last week, remember Aya had on her screen something like Patrick Bet David quote about my bad is one of the most, right?
Yes.
Parang powerful.
Yes. My bad.
My bad.
My mistake.
My mistake.
Because I can take it. Because nobody's gonna fire me, right?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
If an entrepreneur makes a mistake,
Ako
who's
na
gonna exactly?
Yeah.
Who's gonna fire you?
Correct.
Right? So I'll take it. If nobody wants to take it, I'll take it.
Correct. You know, fun. I was just thinking of that. You know, real. That is, I forgot to tell you that night about that. Yung parang leader is, parang the blame all on you, the credit all on the others.
Yeah.
Diba?
Yeah, that's leadership. That's what I had to let go. Like it's a good question.
Mhm.
That's what you have to let go.
And I've noticed that. I've noticed that, and I think this is what make people connect with you. I mean, you've had people on the company working with you for a very long time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. It's a credit to mom, to our mother,
Sure.
right? We have employees from her,
Yeah.
time in the business. So actually this year, my time in the business is now the same as the time she put in the business. So we have about 22 years each in the business.
The 20 years, when you reflect back, the 20 years, right? I mean, I think there's a transition happening here, right? You are grooming Emil eventually to be the CEO. Is that something that
Yes, that's the plan.
that's the plan? And when you reflect on the 22 years, what stands out? If quickly, you could right away say what has stood out in those 22 years for you.
Of course, I wish I had learned these things that I'm sharing with you now much sooner. I wish I had taken my master's sooner, joined EO sooner, many things sooner, right? Learn from other people sooner because EO provided that environment where you learn from your peers, right? So I joined EO 13 years ago, and that's what, when I was 38, 39, I think I was too late. I should have joined it when I was in my 20s, where I think I would have, a smart person learns from his mistakes, right? A wise person learns from other people's mistakes, right? So I would have been wiser if I had joined EO sooner and learned from other people's mistakes sooner, right? So I would have done that. Put myself in environments and situations where there were other people to learn from.